is sometimes. I'm trying to get rid of that.
The art of relaxing.
Not so much the art of relaxing, as it is the art of relaxing under stress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, don't you like that? Like, or not? You don't seem the guy that's always. I don't know. Do you actually like self scout yourself a lot, or no? You kind of let that go now?
I don't know what that means. Self scout myself.
Yeah, like look internally and see what you like and what you don't like about yourself and how to change it, or do you just think at this point, I am who I am and that's it?
No, yeah, especially like with the job change. Like they did a whole new profile, personality profile called Insights. And so there was a lot of like, here, take this test, and it spits out a report that as you're reading it, you're like, oh yeah, that's good. So you go through that and it's like, do you agree with these statements? Do you disagree with these statements? And most of them, I was like, nope, that's me. So you do take a little bit of an internal look
at yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy. I don't think enough people do it. I think too many people are scared. I think too many people, they don't like to go look in the basement.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with people that like therapy. Like not enough people go through therapy, and
that's an interesting point. Yeah,
like I think everybody should take that internal look.
Well, I think the problem is with that is everybody thinks if I'm going to therapy, something's wrong with me.
Right.
But
that's like saying you don't change your oil in your car unless something's wrong. No.
You go in there for some maintenance.
Yeah, it's like a regular basis kind of thing.
That's a healthy thought to it. I have never looked at it like that. I'm actually one of those people that would think like, I don't need that. I'm fine. But then I find myself having very deep one-on-one conversations with you about my psyche sometimes.
Yeah, like we've had some conversations about stuff that I am by no means a licensed therapist.
Right.
But I go, we should probably talk to some professionals about that.
Right.
Your stuff and my stuff. So,
well, welcome to the show, folks. Johnny and the Greg. If you haven't guessed it by now, I'm Johnny. That's the Greg. And this is our podcast. So before we get any more into this, thank you for joining us. Hit the like, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff that helps this channel grow so that the whole world can just take an hour and chill with us. Greg, lay it on, man.
Well, first, I think it's funny because I've got the feet up and I'm not over there. I'm over here.
So you're over here? Here.
If you're pointing towards the arm of my microphone, then that's where I'm at. Towards the axe. Point towards the axe. That's me.
Oh, point towards the axe. That's you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on that side today. But you know what else is on your side today is Audible. Audible is there for you. They want you to listen. They want you to grow. They want you to learn. And they also want you to be entertained. And you can do that for 30 days on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG and just give it a look, check it out. If you're into comedy, if you're into romance, if you're into history, if you're into autobiographies from people that make much more money than you, then you can listen to all of that for 30 days. Anything that you buy on there, you keep, even if you don't carry on your subscription, which is what we're offering there. And but anything that you get there is yours, which I think is kind of cool because not a lot of places will do that. Like if you shut off the subscription, they're like, you can no longer access what you spent your money on. And Audible doesn't do that. And I think that's kind of cool. So again, it is audibletrial.com/JATG.
Very good. What's on the agenda today? There are a couple of things. I think you want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about a couple of things.
Some stuff has come up.
Yeah. So I want to throw it to you because what I should do my research and read into it, but I didn't want to this time. I wanted to actually hear you tell me about it. So the Chris Pratt Indiana Jones thing. Talk to me about that. Like, like I'm one of the audience members here. What happened here?
I don't know why it started to come out now.
Okay,
but in terms of, and I'm going to our page so I can get the actual thing that we posted here. What it looked like was back in the day when Chris Pratt was doing like when he first did
The
the
Guardians,
Jurassic,
right? And the first Jurassic World.
I think it was the first Jurassic World
Okay.
is what it was. It came out that like his look, his demeanor, everything just really fit like an Indiana Jones
For this day and age.
for like if they were to
Yeah.
recast it,
Reboot it.
like reboot, recast a younger actor to play Indiana Jones, that he had the right amount of physicality, he had the right amount of just like I can
Charisma.
get charisma, that I can get beat to hell and still be a smart ass. I can bring the necessary amount of seriousness and comedy to the role.
Yeah.
And so IGN, which is a big outlet for a lot of different media, video games, movies, a lot of just mainstream media now, they reported that Chris he said he could never play Indiana Jones in a future movie. They said, "Hey Chris, would you ever want to play Indiana Jones?" He said, "No, I can't, because Harrison Ford called me and scared me off of ever pursuing Indiana Jones." So like, when the rumors started going, Indiana Jones, or maybe even Chris Pratt reached out to Harrison Ford, I don't know, but definitely Harrison Ford said to Chris Pratt, "No one shall play Indiana Jones. He's mine." Like that was the
he
sentiment.
like intimidated him. Like,
Yeah,
you don't have my blessing.
No, and oftentimes like actors, if they're gonna play somebody that another actor
like
has played
Batman
before, or if they're gonna play someone like in an autobiographical and that person's still alive, they will call that person and say, "Hey, I've been offered this role to play you in a movie," and they have a conversation, and eventually you hope that the person that they're portraying will say, "Yes, you have my blessing, go ahead with this role." And in Harrison Ford's case, he told Chris Pratt, "No one is going to play Indiana Jones ever again. It's just me." Like, if they want another person to play Indiana Jones, they have to have a new character, like the son of, daughter of, whatever they're going to do. It's not going to be Indiana.
Okay.
And we've had this conversation a little bit before about being able to recast certain roles. And I think that particular space where Harrison Ford's telling actors, back the fuck off, is just some movie star arrogance and bullshit, to think that I am the only one who can ever do this role justice. Like, no one shall ever have this but me, kind of thing. And it's curmudgeon-y. I think gatekeeping in a way. And for me, I'm like, if I own the rights to Indiana Jones like Disney does, I would say, "Okay, Harrison, you can go away now, and we're going to recast this role." So the question I have, because I know you think about this, would you rather see the character die, either on screen or just fade away, and there never be another Indiana Jones film, or recast it with a capable actor?
I have so many streams that split off to so many directions, because I can see this in several different ways. I kind of see a little bit where Indy, and maybe I'm going a little bit into his head. I think you're thinking of it as how you said, Harrison's looking at it as like, this is my role, this is my character, no one can do it better. Before that, and I didn't read the article, I got the idea that maybe he was saying, maybe he said in a sense, like, don't do it because, like, you want to preserve it in terms of it's good, it still reached the generation, and if the new generation gets a new Indy, it could suck. It could be like, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm going over what everybody has told me. Uncharted sucks. And the new Laura Croft, which I thought was actually good, but I could understand why it didn't have a sequel, because it just didn't grab you the way that I think people want it to. But what I'm saying is, you don't want these Chris Pratt in, Indiana Jones, is he doing the arc again, or is it new stuff? If it's new stuff, does it suck? Like, you don't want this to become kind of, what happens with Star Wars? It becomes this train that you can't stop, and they're throwing out some stuff, they throw out good, some stuff they throw out absolute crap, and when they throw out that absolute crap, it just breaks your heart. I know you kind of separate yourself because it's not our Star Wars, and our Star Wars was the 80s. So I guess there's a part of me that also understands that that's my Indiana Jones in the 80s, and there's not going to be a better Indiana Jones, in my opinion. That's not true, because I think Chris Pratt would do great.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid the people around him wouldn't do great. And it would ruin it. It would put a bad taste. It'd be like, oh God, another Indy movie. I don't ever want to say that. So,
but do you ever say that about a James Bond film? Or I mean,
no, because I've kind of grew up with all the other ones. Like, I wasn't attached to any certain Bond, actually.
And I think that could be where we're at.
Right, but aren't they going with like Bond is just the code name for the position?
That's not. I don't think that's official.
Oh, okay.
I had heard that they were going to do that when they were thinking about casting Idris Elba, or when they were thinking about casting a woman.
Okay.
The way to get around those, like the racial switch or the gender swap, would be to make it just the code name.
I think a big part of what made Indiana Jones great was it happened in the 40s, the 30s and the 40s. And what I mean by that is, you do it now. Has there been a good treasure hunting movie really that's taken place in today's world? Has there been a good one?
Treasure hunting. Well, yes.
The Nicolas Cage one?
Okay, yeah, that actually wasn't the first one that popped in my mind, but National Treasure is not a bad film.
No, not a bad film at all. I liked it.
I liked both of them.
Right.
I am a huge fan of The Rundown with Dwayne Johnson.
You took that as treasure hunting. Okay, I did.
Oh, it absolutely is treasure hunting.
No, I don't think it is.
They're going after the
gato. It just happens to be like The Rock didn't get the treasure map and say, let's do this. It's centered on The Rock, who happens to fall into a treasure hunt. I don't consider that treasure hunting movie. I consider it a go get the guy movie.
No, especially when they're, going through the columns and there's like booby traps and things like that. And they're distracted by the rebels and everything else. They're going after the gato. That is a treasure hunting movie.
They aren't.
Well, but they're being led to it.
Like I'm saying Sean William Scott is, for sure.
Yeah.
And but you're taking the character that has nothing to do with, he doesn't want any treasure hunting. You're throwing him into to get this guy, and he finds out that this guy has been trying to do this. I just never, because it's not about who gets the treasure at the end. It was kind of like okay, she got it. All right.
I don't know.
What he does here. Let's see how he does here. Let's see.
Under the many tags that Netflix puts on movies, I think treasure hunting would fit for that film as one of the tags.
Is it put there as treasure hunting?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Actually, I don't think that's even a category, right? Like,
no,
they don't do that for Indy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely an action. I think it would fit. The other thing, I mean, and because it's Chris Pratt, Chris Pratt is also getting a little bit, I think, too old to play Indy.
Yes, now he is
at this point. Because even in Terminal List, I was like, ooh, he's looking a little old. And I thought that in Thor: Love and Thunder as well, for his little bits that he was in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And not that he's old, but in terms of this character. And that's interesting because, like, if you make it a younger Indy, like you put him in his mid-20s, like he just got his PhD, you're still dealing with like Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things of that. I think that they could still, I mean, I like the Russian aspects. I mean, that's the only thing that was even remotely likable about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was that it was Russians as the bad guys, because they make a decent group of bad guys, Cold War era.
Right, yeah. Right before the Cold War era. It was like the 1950s. That was right? Or was that the Cold War?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Cuban Missile Crisis, whole deal.
Yeah.
Because that was like JFK.
Yeah.
In the Russians. But but I thought you can do some cool treasure hunting stuff with with the Russians. Now it doesn't lean itself into it because the Nazis were also hunting like occult objects and things like that. So that's
Right.
why it
Yeah.
works so well
Yeah.
in that era. But even still, I think there's other actors out there that could do a good job.
Okay, so let's separate this because you're right. I think there's a lot of good actors that could pick up the whip of Indiana Jones and continue it. I guess going back to the question you asked me, would I rather have Harrison Ford play Indy and it dies with him, or get somebody new? My only caveat was, is somebody new going to make it better or carry on the torch to where I'm proud, or are they going to really suck it up and I'm going to think it sucks? I don't want that.
Well, that's just it. I think no matter
we're getting another one.
We're getting another Indiana Jones movie, and I have
even if Harrison Ford's in or out, we're getting another one. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, I think, like you said, Disney's not going to sit on something and let it die.
I hope not. Harrison Ford is like, did he just turn 80?
God, right? He had to have. I know he injured himself like 3 times already.
Yeah, I think
so long to film it.
I think he's 80, and that to me is like throw in the towel. Like, even if you have to wait until he's dead, then fine. Cousin Clay says Kylo Ren is the new Indy. Actually, I think Adam Driver is a good actor, but I don't know if I would put him as the villain.
Yeah, he'd be a good villain, but
he'd make a great villain.
Cousin Clay, I think you're way off on that one. I appreciate you telling us,
but probably joking. But
I don't see that. I don't see it. Who would make a good beside like you and I both agree? Chris Pratt's too old. Who would Tom Holland do a good Indy as just getting out of school?
No,
or is he becoming too much of Tom Holland in a movie?
I think so, and that's what I would like to see. I mean, I would like to see an unknown is not quite true, but you need to find someone that has that level of charisma that they can really carry that role. Miles Teller's in his 30s, but he's about to be everywhere, and I'm not sure if he's up for the Indy type role. I did like
a good young Indy. Like, who's that kid from The Maze Runner? Who's that?
Oh, Dylan.
Yeah. Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien. Yeah.
I like that dude.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I've seen him in a couple of things, and I think he does a good job. I would like to see. You saw Top Gun, right?
No, the sequel.
No
shit,
Tom
dude.
Cruise.
I haven't seen anything except unless it's streamed. I haven't seen anything this summer unless it's streamed.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's an actor in there. He reminds me a lot of Clint Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood.
Oh, Scott Eastwood. Okay.
Reminds me a lot of him. I think Scott Eastwood would probably do a pretty good job. But again, he's probably the same age as Chris Pratt.
What about the guy that played Han Solo as a young dude?
No, I don't see that.
No,
I saw him. I bought him as Han Solo, but I don't know if I'll buy him as Indiana Jones, even though it's practically the same character for some reason. Somebody said Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh, Clay said Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But again, Joseph Gordon, he's
old, but he's
in his 40s.
Fantastic actor.
Oh, fantastic. Well, again, I think he would make a phenomenal villain to Indy. I mean, if they're doing the same, if they're going to do Indiana Jones and Belloc, I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would make a fantastic Belloc.
Oh yeah, he would.
But anyway, in Top Gun, there's an actor who plays Hangman, is his call sign. And first time I saw him in a film is he played. Sorry, I'm trying to type. IMDb is what I'm looking for.
What's the dude from the Kingsman?
Oh, Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Rumor is he's gunning for a Wolverine role.
I'm cool with that, actually.
Yeah. Have you seen anything of his new? I think it's Black Canary is the name.
No.
No, you don't have Apple TV. You could Google that. That dude got fit for that role.
Well, he was in shape.
He was in
he
shape,
wasn't
but
like, I know what you mean.
Packed on some size.
The whole problem with that, right, is if you're going to pick this superhero role,
They've got you for years.
For years. You got to be in shape for years. Yeah.
The guy that I'm thinking of from Top Gun Maverick, he played the character Hangman, who is like the Iceman replacement. There's a super cocky guy, but he's really, really good. And I saw him first in Hidden Figures. Do you remember that movie about the three black women at NASA?
Oh, yes.
Integrated.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic film.
Yes.
But he played, I believe, John Glenn in that film. And his name, if I can find it, I'm looking at the entire cast. He's got to be, is he really that low on the list? Oh, come on. Oh, Glenn Powell is his name. What else have we seen Glenn Powell in?
God, why does that sound familiar?
I guess he had a role in the Expendables 3. I don't remember him in that movie, but I remember.
I kind of phase out by the Expendables.
Yeah, I don't remember.
First one I was all into. The second one I'm like, all right.
Yeah, by the time the third one came out, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Sorry, Sly.
He's what else is he in? He's done some voice work, evidently. Yeah. He's in All Hail King Julian and The Bad Guys. Interesting. He was on the Scream Queens TV show. So not a lot is what it comes down to, is that he was.
Well, maybe that's the perfect then guy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got experience acting, which is good.
Yeah, he's been a blockbuster.
Yeah, and now he's been in a big blockbuster, so he's got enough of the name recognition. I think he'd be good.
Who do you guys think out there besides Cousin Clay? Like, what I mean by that is Cousin Clay, you've already given us your vote. That's great.
Well, yeah, actually, he just came up with a halfway decent one, I think. Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid. He plays Huey from The Boys. He is the son of Dennis Quaid. He's a pretty good actor.
I think he's a great actor. And whoever we're saying, I think they're all good actors. But no. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I need to see him with the hat, and I need to see how he handles himself. And I don't know. Between the two of us, I would say it's safe to say I'm the more diehard Indiana guy than you are.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
That's the
other thing, though. I'm not saying nobody can ever replace Harrison Ford. Like how I feel about Tony Stark. Like I don't feel that way about Indy.
Okay.
Weird, but I do.
Part of the thing I'm realizing what I'm thinking about it, and this is the Jack Quaid suggestion kind of made me think of this.
Jack Quaid. It's Huey.
Yeah, Huey. I'm thinking of an actor who's kind of muscly. And when I think back to Harrison Ford,
he was muscly.
He's wiry. Like running through the streets of Karachi.
He was what you would be in 1940.
Yeah, but not by our standards. So we don't need.
This guy would be great.
We don't need him showing off his abs or anything like that. We need him to have like wiry muscle, which I think Jack Quaid has.
No, I think this Glenn Powell is perfect.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely. He'd almost be a good Jack Ryan if you know who stops being Jack Ryan. Yeah.
I feel like we should get Danny back on the show to have some of these casting conversations.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Okay. So like I said, people, let us know what you guys think of your who would play the next Indiana Jones? Who would be good? It could be an actor we haven't even met yet.
And a lot of people, some of the people on the stream right now are like, yeah, just make it a totally unknown, like Harrison Ford was.
Yeah.
You know, he had been in one other movie previous to Indiana Jones. Yep. Although no, I'm wrong on that. He had played Han Solo.
Yeah. I know George Lucas did not want to use him because he didn't want like the Martin Scorsese De Niro thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's why he didn't want to use them, but that didn't work. So that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to transition because this whole started with Pratt being Indiana Jones, and Pratt's also part of the MCU. And there's another article you posted.
Yeah.
And this
Now,
has gotten a lot of traction on our Facebook page. I was reading up on what people say.
mm-hmm.
So why don't you, for the people that aren't on our Facebook page or that are just listening to us,
Yeah.
give us a rundown of what's going on here.
So the I will say, like, the article itself doesn't have much to do with my opinion of it,
Right.
or what I've been talking about. What I'm talking about is the because the article is about it says the Winter Soldier deconstructed Captain America to prove his importance. So it's CBR, Comic Book Resources. They're kind of very clickbaity already.
Okay.
But there is just on my feed, there has been a stream of going back to like almost 10-year-old or older Marvel projects. The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton just came across my feed of like these internet sites are still writing about those projects. And it almost seems like they're kind of ignoring these phase 4 projects. Like there's not enough to write about. And
Which
so
is
it's
funny as hell because they've thrown out a ton in phase 4. More than we're almost
have they
rated. Yes. You add in the
I-
TV and you add in the movie.
Oh, yes, there are projects for sure. There are projects. I'm not denying that there hasn't been a lot of projects, but like, I don't think there's anything that's being anything groundbreaking. Like we don't even have a big bad evil guy yet. I mean, we just have.
So is that what you mean by groundbreaking?
I don't think they're well, I don't want to say they're all good, but they're all standalone projects with very little other than the multiverse kind of
Well, I was going to say you're leaving out a huge movie.
Well, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Those
not even really Doctor Strange. Spider-Man. That was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it wasn't huge, but like, where are we going?
Well, weren't you the one that kept telling everybody that was listening to us that they may not go that route again? You got to be okay with it. It seems like you're not okay with it now.
Well, and I wasn't even, it's not that I'm not okay with it. It's the idea of what I'm seeing on the feeds is they don't have anything to do. Like is the question I postulated is, are we seeing the downslope of the MCU, of people caring about comic book movies? If they still make a ton of money, like Thor was still the biggest opening of the weekend, but it's one of the worst reviewed MCU films.
Well, I guess that you got to ask yourself this question: how much do you care about reviews?
I don't know. I mean,
okay, because I know that the terminal list was trashed, but the audience score gave it like a 92.
Yeah, I'm just postulating the question.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, we're 6 films and 7 shows into phase 4. Can you tell me who the bad guys are?
Kang.
Do we think Kang's a bad guy? Well, I mean, we saw him for 3 minutes.
Right, but I mean, okay. Before you saw Thanos, you saw him for like 3 minutes.
But we knew eventually when Thanos showed up, we're like, oh yeah, he's the shit. And we also knew, well, I take it back. I said we knew Thanos was going to be the bad guy, but like Kang right now,
we had no idea what the fuck he was doing. We were introduced to him the first time he smiled. That's all we got.
Correct.
Everybody lost their fucking minds. Then the next time we got him, I think he had this little monologue of how he could beat up Ronan. That was
Ronan failed to collect this, and he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." And that's where he.
Well, no. Then we saw that. That was a next.
Oh, that was the cutscene. You're talking. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the final do it myself, and that was all we got until Infinity War.
I'm just kind of like, we're more projects in. Like at the end of Avengers, at that cutscene, like you knew, and even if you weren't a comic book person, you could tell that was going to be a major deal. Like that Thanos guy was like a big deal as far as a bad guy goes.
Yeah.
We don't know who that is yet, other than at the end of Loki, we saw a future where Kang, or we saw a reality where Kang had taken over.
Right.
Or it was Kang the Conqueror, but that's it. I mean, that's a
Why
year
does that,
ago.
why does that bother you?
I don't know. I'm just
Okay,
wondering
so it
if
does bother
like
you. It bothers you that
it,
you
it,
feel like
but
there's no direction.
the more, and maybe this is just post Thor, by the
Okay.
way, that I'm really feeling like, where are we going with this? I mean, I really liked Miss Marvel. You know, I wasn't the target audience, but it was a great family show with me to watch with my kids. At the end of that, I'm like, cool. I would like more of that story,
Yeah.
but I don't need her crossing over to have more of the Kamala Khan story.
I
You
see.
know, I think that like she could stay like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, where she's just sticking around her Jersey City,
Right.
and fighting bad guys there, and I'd be kind of into it for a couple seasons. But they're full on bringing her into the Marvels. That's another year out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like this phase 4 is dragging on. Like we need some kind of something in terms of
Well, there is a
pick-me-up.
lot of announcements coming, I guess, with this.
Well, it's Comic-Con
D2.
week.
Yeah. Or Comic-Con. I'm sorry. It's Comic-Con. You're right.
Yeah, it's Comic-Con week. Where rumors are we're going to get a casting of the Fantastic Four. We're going to, you know,
Hear about X-Men, and
there's going to be a lot coming out. There was. Do you have you been watching Miss Marvel? Do you give a shit?
You know what? I actually really like it. But
Okay.
we haven't watched it in about 2 weeks, so we're behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
There, I won't ruin it for you. There's a reference in there to a definite Marvel thing, and it comes with a word and a musical note kind of trill.
Oh,
That
I
you're
actually
going,
know about that. I know.
Okay. Yeah. Then you're going to be like, ooh, okay. And then
Yeah.
you're going to be into it. But
Yeah.
to me, there's not like they're sprinkling these stuff. It's like someone's, you know, washing their hands and then just doing this right in your face. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, there's nothing following up. There's nothing
Okay.
paying.
Can I ask you a question? If they didn't have, okay, so go from Endgame or what was the last phase 3 movie? Was it Far From Home?
No, it was the last phase 3 movie.
Yeah. It was Far From Home. I'm pretty sure it was Far From Home. So what I'm saying is take away phase 1 through phase 3 and you're getting phase 4. Are you feeling the same way?
Restate that question again.
But what I'm basically saying is when Marvel did phase 1 through phase 3, there was this, oh my God, they pulled it off. Fantastic. And then the expectation just shot through the roof of what's next. And now everybody's throwing this shit of what's next. But what I'm saying is, if you took, are Marvel and are we victims of the past in terms of Marvel movies? Like you take away, okay. So it's
yes.
And this is but this is funny because this is something you've argued and not yelled at, but you've kind of done the daddy thing with our audience of like, you can't expect this stuff. You can't do this anymore. This isn't your Marvel. This isn't your this. This isn't your that. They're going to keep putting it out because you keep going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to make sense. And it doesn't have to connect. And it doesn't have to do any of that. We also had this huge discussion in a podcast probably 3 years ago when I asked, where's the bad guy? And you told me, John, maybe there's not a bad guy. Maybe this is just the direction they're going. Maybe they're going to go here for supernatural. Maybe they're going to go here for neighborhood crime fighting. Maybe they're going to hear street level with, you know, and now you're sitting there going, where's the bad guy?
If that's what it is, I just want to know that's what it is.
Maybe that's what we'll find out.
Like phase 1.
Yeah.
It was, we build up to the Avengers.
Yes.
Like everybody's got their own movie and then we build up to the Avengers. But even at the earliest movie of phase 1, you knew that's where we're headed. Like, Avengers Initiative.
Yeah.
That's where we want to go.
Yes.
Even to the point where they did reshoots of certain scenes to add in. We're going to make the Avengers happen.
Yeah.
And then phase 2 was all what was phase two? Phase
I
two
don't really know.
was Ultron.
But that didn't. Oh, that accumulated to what?
To well,
Separating or the creating of the separation of the Avengers.
kind of, yeah,
Okay,
like you
because
start
Tony
to
started going nuts, yeah, or
you start
getting
to
paranoid.
you start to put that in, but they beat Ultron. And then phase three was, yes, the breakdown of the Avengers. It started with Civil War.
Yeah,
But then we get Infinity War and Endgame, and we go cosmic because we get Ragnarok and Captain Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy. So we see the spacefaring aspect of the Marvel universe, and now we're doing multiverse stuff. But not everybody's doing multiverse stuff.
right.
And like here, I'm looking at phase 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was 11 projects total.
Okay.
And we are at 11 projects in phase 4 without any clear direction. And if they don't want to give us clear direction, then just say we're not headed there.
Well, maybe this is all part of it.
I think what we might be seeing, because I've spent obviously some time thinking about this, is all these individual projects, and then it's like a roller coaster, right? I mean, we're doing that slow up, and then once we hit that precipice, and then I think that could be where they're headed. Maybe. Is where when we hit that down, it's just going to be like a high speed, bing, 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 and then the end of the ride.
I think, okay, so to answer your question, it seems like this is going downhill. Endgame was the peak, and it's going down. It seems like that. But I do think you're right. I think Kevin Feige's, he has a reputation. He has an ego. I think what he's going to do is he's going to save this, and we're going to go, wow, that was amazing. And that's where it's going to fall, because then he's going to leave. He's going to go.
That could be.
And I think that's when we're going to go, oh. Now, hey, I hope at the end of all this shit, whenever this ends, if it's phase 6 or whatever the fuck, I hope I sit there and be like, holy cow, that was the best 40 years of my movie storytelling life. You know,
I mean, we've talked about Hollywood goes in cycles.
Yes.
Like 10 years ago, it was all like gross out comedy kind of stuff.
Yep, you're right.
And that came and went.
Yep.
So I have no doubt that comic book movies are going to, well, I take it back. I have no doubt that superhero films are eventually going to fade away.
Correct. No one's going to give a shit. Yeah.
What we do have is comic books as source material. Like, I think Hollywood is now hip to the idea that there's a lot of source material there.
Right.
So I don't think it's the end of comic book films or stories that were comic form first. It is changing the comic book industry for sure.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because you have independent creators out there that they're writing a comic, not even to really say they want to produce a comic. They want to get it optioned for a film.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody, what project was it? I want to that shitty movie with Ashton Kutcher's wife, Mila Kunis. That shitty movie with Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, where she's like some
Jupiter
kind of
Ascending.
Yes.
Oh wow, I got that right.
Yeah, Jupiter Ascending. That was like, they said they were making a comic book and it was going to be like this big graphic novel release. That was all bullshit. They had one copy of a comic that they said was in process or in progress. And here was the story of it. They were shopping that around purely to get a picture deal.
Wow.
I think it was that movie.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, we're at that wait and see. I know what you're saying. I know what are other people saying? Like Clay's, I'm sure Clay's on this. Like is he answered?
Yeah, I mean, he's offered some stuff up, but he said his last comment was, it was a lot of years of buildup, and now we're just waiting for the buildup feeling to come back. That could be a valid point.
Yeah.
Like when we're looking at, did I close it out? Phase 3. So like Far From Home was 2019. So really not that long ago in terms of
Here's the other thing. They are going into these other characters that, sorry guys, they're not mainstream popular.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, Ms. Marvel, cool story. If it makes somebody, if that's somebody's favorite superhero, awesome. That's great.
Mhm.
I don't care that much. Like if you were to tell me in the next episode she dies, I'd be like, all right.
Well, and I think
Like
the way they're selling She-Hulk.
Thor.
Yeah. Like the She-Hulk series, it's courtroom drama. Like it's going to be a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama. It's going to feel like a USA produced lawyer series.
Okay.
Because
I don't know if I'm up for that.
Well, but that's what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be more like superhero law.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When they're doing this now, it's going to start separating people. Some people are going to just not like, I don't think my wife cares about Kamala Khan. And I think she's just like, okay, I have to keep up for it because I know something's coming at the end that all this adds up. And I don't think all of this adds up.
I did see a quote from one of the Russo brothers that said what we're waiting for is Secret War. Like that's gonna be the big impact.
Well, Secret War, if they do it right, that could reboot all of it.
Well, and I don't think they're gonna do Secret War like it is in the comics with the Beyonder grabbing.
They probably not the Beyonder, not that one. The one where Doom takes it and makes Battle World or something like that.
It could be, but then we got to get through the introduction of Fantastic Four, the introduction of Doom. I mean, there's a lot that you got to cover before you get to Secret War.
Correct. A ton, actually.
And even like, is Secret Invasion before Secret War with the whole Skrulls?
Yep.
Piece.
Yep. That starts actually. Didn't that start Civil War technically? No. Where did that start?
Secret Invasion?
No, that started. No, something started Secret Invasion because I remember after all everything settled down, they were like, Elektra's a Skrull. What does that mean? Like, what happened in that?
Was it Elektra? I thought it was Spider-Woman.
No, Spider-Woman ended up being like the queen.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was just like that's what it was. Elektra got assassinated or something like that, and she reverted back.
Right, but that was from a major other tentpole
another arc.
Yeah. I forgot what it was, but anyway, So guys, we could sit here and talk all day about it. I don't know if it's failing. I can see that it's going in. They're pulling new characters like
Captain Marvel, not failing because they're still pulling in billions.
Right, I'm sorry, not failing.
And tickets and.
It is also after COVID-19.
I did see that brings up another thing. These Marvel TV shows, the Disney Plus series that are coming out.
Yes.
When you look at their production schedules, they were all filmed at the same time. Like, so
okay.
There's not a lot of connections between, like, She-Hulk was filmed practically at the same time as Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Falcon and Winter Soldier is almost like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it might be really hard to connect all these guys.
Not only hard to connect, but like the filmmakers and Disney as a company, the MCU, they couldn't learn from mistakes that they're making with the TV shows that they made back then because they were all filmed at the same time because their production schedules had to be squished together just because they wanted to get them out before COVID or during a COVID time. Like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's ramp these up and get them out there.
Right.
So that was another thing I thought was interesting of just the timing of it all.
It is interesting.
Learn from anything.
But I think we're panicking. And I get it. Because before, like you said, by the end of phase 1, we knew where we were going to. We knew where we were headed. We just wanted to see it happen. Oh, and shit, you introduced Black Panther, and then you introduced Doctor Strange, and you're like, oh, how is this all going to work out? And I think now I feel like it's like, to me, they haven't even given us the big ones yet. They haven't, like the starters haven't come in yet.
But they have, because we've had Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Okay, who else you got?
Thor.
Right, but doesn't Thor? What I mean, I'm sorry. What I'm talking about is they haven't introduced who I thought was going to carry Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6 is Fantastic Four, X
Right.
Men. I thought they haven't introduced those guys yet.
No,
They've
they
given you
haven't.
little things.
And I think that might be when I said the roller coaster ride that's going
Yeah,
to come, that's going to be the drop
yeah,
is getting, but
those guys.
they're just announcing Fantastic Four, the
The
cast
casting. Yeah,
this week, which means they haven't started filming yet.
nope.
Hopefully, like they've got all of their ducks in a row. So it's like, hey, here's our cast. We start filming next week, and they can have it out in time, like
Okay.
Christmas of next year or something like that.
All right. I hear it's just here. It's a rumor that we are going to be introduced to one of the characters of the Fantastic Four and She-Hulk. So that's weird if that was all timed
They
out differently.
That's
Unless that's
interesting.
a after a scene or something like
It
that.
certainly could be
Yeah.
because She-Hulk has been closely related to the Fantastic Four for
Yes,
a
she
long time.
has. Yes, she has.
Even a member more than once.
Yeah.
So
whoever character pops up, I'm not going to ruin it for you if you haven't heard that rumor yet. And they showed the actor, and I was like, okay, maybe.
yeah, I don't even want to speculate. There's so much speculation going around the internet right now.
Right. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
Because
we're
it's
adding
Comic-Con.
to it.
It's Comic-Con week and everybody's trying
Yeah.
to get clicks. So they're like, I know who's going to be here.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm listening to a podcast right now about the rise and fall of Ain't It Cool News and like how it generated so much hype for different projects.
I remember that used to be the go-to.
Oh, it was absolutely the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of it was bullshit. Like that's
Oh,
what I
wow.
discovered.
Okay.
I mean, we used to put so much stock into what was written on that site. And a lot of it was like, they're like, we've had our sources, multiple sources have corroborated this is what it is. It's like, nope, it was one dude.
You know what I believe in? John Campea. That's what I believe in.
Well, because, and here's the thing, Campea is a journalist. Like he is an actual trained journalist, where Harry Knowles was just some spoiled rich kid from Austin. And like
you can see him in a boardroom going, guys, we don't have to tell them the truth.
Not even
just tell them what they want to hear.
It was just, and that's very much what it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, I mean, everything was just how much attention can he bring in on himself. It's very, very telling. It's called Download, DONWLOWD, the rise and fall of Ain't It Cool News. And it's because I was a fan. Like I drank the Kool-Aid. I was totally into that site. I checked it multiple times a day to try to get the scoop on stuff. If I had a break, that was my break, was eat a snack, check Ain't It Cool News.
Yeah.
And whew, how wrong I was.
Anyway,
what else you got?
Speaking of Campea, this is something where I think you're being very adult about this. I'm not losing my mind. I'm flabbergasted by it. So a trailer dropped last week for Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Oh God. Okay.
Holy cow. This movie cost $40 million. And I'm seriously wondering, where did the 40 million go? Because what I'm looking at here, and somebody said on the Campea show today, I was listening to it, and whoever that guy that wrote that in the comments, brilliant. He says it looks like the parody of a porno movie without the sex.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, yes.
He's totally right.
What that thing is.
And part of me wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie went to his production designers and said, this is the aesthetic I'm going for.
Yeah. And look, when I found out Rob Zombie was doing the Munsters, my first thought was, oh, is he taking this and making this a horror movie?
No,
I know. And
then
I found out, because I remember when I saw the first, it was black and white. They were behind the house. I mean, they were in front of the house taking the picture on Instagram. And I was like, oh. And then I saw Rob Zombie's doing it. I was like, oh. Like, what is he going to? Is he going to make this so gross and so uncomfortable? And he did it in a way where it's PG.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, he's
like, I'm watching the trailer and I'm thinking, oh God, he made this uncomfortable.
He is a huge unabashed fan of the Munsters.
So was I.
So, well, and that's, but he's rich and can make movie decisions. So what this is
why can he make movie decisions?
because he can't. I mean, and I have never, I haven't watched most of his films, and I've watched part of one of them, and I didn't enjoy it, so I tapped out. I'm like, I'm not a big thing into torture porn or gross out horrors.
No,
anyway.
neither am I.
So I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I know there's an audience for it, but it's not for me. And so watching him make the Munsters, and I've heard about this project years ago.
Okay, I didn't.
And so I knew he was making it, and I was like, this is going to be his love letter to the original TV series, which was cartoony and cheesy, and there's going to be nothing serious about it. It is going to be, if you hyper colorized the original TV show with different actors, and one of the actors has to be his wife, because she not only is in every project that he directs, she is the star of every project he directs.
I get that. If I didn't see the Addams Family, I thought the first one was really good. I really enjoyed it. The second one, I don't remember walking away from the second one thinking that was horrible. I just remember walking, okay, Addams Family. Like, yeah. That's what I was expecting. Like, the Munsters moved into Beverly Hills, and it's just going to be this comedy. And it looks like, oh my God, it looks so bad. Like, this is something where I feel like even the Sci-Fi Channel would be like, dude, you might want to like
tone it down a little bit. But then he said, I'm Rob Zombie and I don't have to.
Oh, I don't understand that. And to be honest, I'm a huge fan of the Munsters. I don't know why I'm this upset. It's like, because you text me back, you're like, well, it's Rob Zombie. I was like, I know, but I don't understand it. Like, this is one of those things that I'm going to go to my grave not really freaking understanding. And I'm not going to see this movie, but then I feel like I'm going to.
It's coming out on Amazon Prime. So
shit, it is. Then I am going to watch it.
You are going to watch it because you're going to watch it because you've prepaid to watch it.
God, it almost feels to me that
he's going to get your money whether you like it or not.
What is wrong with you, Prime? That's not even a decent movie.
But here we are talking about it. It's, again, this is pure money making. They let a super fanboy take his dream project, and we'll have you make a movie out of it. And they don't give a shit whether it's good or not, because everybody's talking about it. And all those little Rob Zombie music fans that maybe don't have Prime are now going to get Prime, because that's the only way they're going to be able to watch.
I'm just so disgusted by this.
You feel dirty.
I do. And I hate him for it. I remember going to one of his first off, I used to headbang to this guy's music. I used to work
absolutely.
Dun, 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 you know, I used to love his music. Wasn't it on Twisted Metal? Wasn't that the soundtrack on Twisted Metal? When we all went to my room, we played it. The Creeper.
I'm gonna say the
Creeper.
Yeah.
And then I saw A House of a Thousand Corpses, and I was like, oh, okay. So he just wants to make really bad, maybe realistic horror movies with a tad bit of really horrible acting. I don't know. And I just got over that. And then he went down this path of all these weird ones. And I was like, all right, you know what? There's a genre, obviously.
Yeah.
But God, I don't know why I'm so upset about this. I don't understand this. I really don't. But anyway, I'm sorry. I went off track. But my sister, Kim, who's kind of a horror fan, she goes to all these. Yeah. I don't know if she's a convention fan or if she's a horror fan. I don't know. But I think if a convention comes up where she's going to go to it no matter what it is. She said, like, hey, Rob Zombie's doing a haunted house. I was like, oh, that would be cool. And then I got in line and remembered all of his movies. And I thought, oh, fudge, this is going to suck. And, you know, you walk in there, I'm not going to repeat anything, but it was all very too too close to home. There were no monsters. There
Mhm.
were real monsters. And what I mean by like his serial killers, I almost felt like he was idolizing them, or if he was like painting a portrait of them, like they were almost doing art, and it was really disturbing.
Yeah.
I just and Kim still like wants to go to that stuff. And I'm like, no, Kim, I've had enough of that crap. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I don't like his mind. Okay,
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
I don't like where that guy likes to go. And I guess maybe that's why I'm mad, because actually I wouldn't even be mad if the Munsters, what I saw was like this Rob Zombie horror fest. I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that
If it
makes
was
sense.
an actual horror
But
movie of the monsters
okay,
or
that's
the monsters.
doing, yeah. But this one, it just, I was like, I can't believe anybody said that. Like, to me, the trailer guy had to sit there and go, what the, how do I do this? This is crap. So anyway, I'm moving
He,
on. I'm
he
moving on
probably
for the
cut the
health of the
trailer
show.
himself.
I'm moving on for the health of the show. His wife probably did it. Oh,
By the way, I've been kind of checking out. We need to change our Zoom settings because the automated closed captioning is so off.
oh, is it?
A little bit,
Do
yeah.
we even have automated closed captioning?
Yeah, it's based on Zoom. We can turn it off after today. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay. I didn't know we could do that. Okay.
yeah, nope, it's on there.
Where is it? I'll shut it off right now.
No, we'll do it later. It's in the meeting settings.
Oh, okay. All right. God, we're getting close to that time. I wanted to do dad bod real quick.
Sure.
For those of you that don't know what dad bod is, I just thought of an idea where a lot of people out there are struggling to be a dad. And if you ever come into a roadblock where you don't know how to handle something, but you're just doing the best you can, we're here for you. Greg has 17 years experience with 3 different children.
That is correct.
All right. And I'm on my 4th year now. And so I thought it would be good for us to just back and forth with whatever new topic came up. But like I said, one of them had to do that I want to talk about. This is a little special. This isn't really dad bod, but I said how sometimes dads kind of merge into the husband role too, as the same time being the dad, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like this.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know how to really question this, so I'm just going to give you kind of an experience. And this isn't my experience. I feel like I learned from this a long time ago, but I feel like there are some guys out there that feel if they do the dishes, do the laundry, feed the kids, tuck them in there, and put them to bed, that they get sex that night. They're deserving of sex that night. And they get very upset if they don't get it because they feel like I've just done all this. Where their wives look at that as a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's just parenting.
Right. But I think some guys
You're
actually look at it like
misogynists.
yeah.
That's what total.
That is. I don't know how it happened. It just froze up on us. But
did you try making a change to the
no, I didn't. Not yet.
Okay.
I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to just get us back online as fast as possible. I will make changes after this. But anyway, we were talking about how there's a lot of husbands out there. Well, I feel like I know enough where they feel like if they do these certain things, this opens the door to paradise, I guess, if you want to call it like that. And I just want to let everybody out there know that that is not the way. I'm not claiming that I know the way into whoever you're married to's pants. I'm just saying that's definitely not it.
I said I don't know the way, but I know that ain't it.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I figured that out pretty damn quick in my marriage, and I'm just wondering. Like I have a feeling you did too. For anybody out there that thinks that that's the way there, it ain't the way there.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing that you think is special, or you've taken, maybe you're looking at it as I'm taking stress off of my wife for that one day.
Well,
to get something for me.
Maybe you are, And I'm not saying that that's not admirable, but again, it's called a transactional marriage. So if that is your back and forth, I said this, I stayed live for a little bit while you were
Oh, okay.
frozen and whatnot. And what I had said was that if that is your setup, that transactional type of marriage, your marriage ain't going to last. Because when your kids are gone and you're only doing 2 dishes a night, then all of a sudden you're like, 2 dishes a night. Hey, baby, I did my job. She's going to be like, no, that's not how this works. And I don't think the marriage would last that long anyway. I think
No, I agree.
that's gonna get real old real quick. Um
Especially if
there's
you act like a child when you don't get it.
yeah, and there's no, and I'm not saying that every time a married couple has sex that there is the level of emotion. I mean, it's not always making love. Sometimes it's just sex because you want to, and sometimes it's just straight up fucking.
Yeah.
But that's what a marriage is. I mean,
Right.
it's this mishmash. But again, if it becomes the I did this, you give me this, and this goes both ways. It's not
Right.
just,
No, yeah, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I know that was the setup you gave us, but um, it just doesn't work that way. The
No, it
human
doesn't.
body, the human emotion system doesn't work that way. It's not sustainable.
Right. So if you guys are experiencing that, if any guy out there is experiencing it, or I guess any woman out there, I kind of made this originally for dads, but if anybody out there is thinking that if I do this, I get this, like Greg said, it's a great word. I didn't think about it, but
Yeah.
you've done enough reading about that. To transitional marriage. Yeah. You gotta figure out a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are a lot of great books out there.
That
His
you can
needs,
try
her
on audible.com.
yeah, His Needs, Her Needs is a great book. I read that early on in my marriage, helps kind of set the tone for um not just the physical relationship, but the relationship in general.
Pause.
Um,
Pause real quick. I want to ask you a question. Why did you feel
yes.
the need to read a book about marriage? Because I don't
Uh,
think anybody, I'm sorry, I don't think the majority of men do that. I don't think the majority of women do that,
mhm,
where they pick up a book and they, hey, how am I going to get good at this thing? Because
yeah.
you got to get good at this thing if you want this thing to last. Just
Mhm.
FYI. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
One is I knew I was young. Like we knew we were young when we got married, but it was still the right decision for us.
Mhm.
And we had enough people around us at that time that were they were down the road a little bit more in their marriage, and they were reading this stuff,
Okay.
and we could see in those people that had the more seasoned marriages,
Yeah.
everything from 5 years to 15 years to, I mean, it was our church group had like a couple study group, and so we got to know these people, and then we could start to see, like, oh, they've got some issues. Not that they've got issues in their marriage, but they're talking about they had these issues. This is how they work through them. We could see how the relationships are built. They're giving us advice of like, well, you're not thinking about it now, but in 6 years, this is what it's going to be like. If you have kids right away, this is what it's going to be like. If you don't have kids right away, this is what it's going to be like. And
Yeah.
hearing about the struggles and the challenges that these other people had gone through, saying, oh, I wish I would have read this book sooner. I wish I would have talked to this person sooner. I wish I would have taken this more seriously. It was us recognizing and learning from the people around us going, oh, well, then I guess we should probably read that before we get in any kind of trouble.
Do you
So,
think,
so that's, we did a lot of that.
do you think everybody, no, not everybody does it. Do you think enough people do that?
No,
I don't mean in just reading. I mean,
applying what they're reading.
not even applying what they're reading, but looking at other couples and in a sense, they don't know it, but you're kind of, or maybe they do, you're kind of breaking down their marriage to figure out what works for them and how to apply that to you
Yeah.
or what doesn't work for them. And oh, wow, see, we shouldn't do that.
See, and that's, I think naturally people will look at the negative. Like, I think naturally people would look at, they could look at my marriage and say, ooh, I think they're doing these parts wrong here, and tear that apart, tear it down.
Instead of looking at the other side.
Well, but then they don't actually look at it introspectively and say, okay, we want to make sure we don't do that.
Right.
Okay. And conversely, people don't look at the good parts of other people's marriages, and they'll look at them and be like, gosh, I wish we were like that, or whatever it is. Say, I wish we had that type of relationship, and then say, well, how do you think they got that type of relationship? Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should figure out how they got there.
Yeah.
And do the same thing. So, and it, marriage has stages like anything else. It grows and morphs. It's a, and it's not just the kids, it's the age of the person. It's interests and things like that. You've got to be able to kind of roll with those changes. Like if you're so stagnant, well, I think that's a big mistake anyway. If somebody ever said, well, I'm the same person I was in high school. Oh, that's fucking sad.
Oh, you're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. That means
I've met a couple of people that are the same. They haven't changed. They haven't. Yeah. And
that's sad.
Yeah. It's actually horrible. You end up very alone.
Yeah. You feel very sorry for someone.
Yeah.
That hasn't been able to transition out of that. And even hell, modern media makes fun of those people. Like the thing that pops in my head is the Ryan Reynolds movie Just Friends, which is hilarious, by the way. It's a great Christmas movie. But there's a one dude who like picked on him in high school, and then here he is going back 10 years later, and the dude is at the same bar still wearing his Letterman's jacket. He's got the toilet ring kind of hair. Yeah. And he's just like, hey, I remember you did this thing in high school. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I know a few of those people.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but I wish you could bottle that up, go back in time and show your younger self.
Yeah.
Hey,
don't do this.
Yeah. Anyway, so for just to, I guess, reiterate, and then we'll close it out here. I don't know how I was going to close it out.
I don't know, but if you are the person in your marriage that says, I'm going to do A so that my spouse will provide me with B, whether it's sex, whether it's whatever it is, you've got some issues that you got to work out.
Right.
You've got some issues with yourself. You got some issues with your marriage. Go to therapy, read a book, fix it, or else you're not going to be married that long.
Or if you are married, it's not going to be pleasant.
Miserable.
Yeah, you're going to be miserable.
Absolutely.
Because you just, what would you say, that they just grow up resenting each other?
You do.
Not knowing how to talk anymore, not knowing how to.
It's not sustainable. Like whatever your expectation is that a person provide you the service or the payment for the service you provided.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. What do you say to men that believe that because I provide, I should get?
Yeah, like you deserve these things. You deserve the sex because you bring.
Have you ever heard? I've heard a female. Now, I'm not saying that all psychiatrists but I've heard a marriage counselor say that sometimes the woman has just got to do her duty. Like, do you think sex is part of a duty in a marriage? Like there are some times where you're just not up for it. They are. You're just not up for it. But you feel if you go through the motions, you might get into it. I think maybe women do think that more than men do.
Sure,
but
that's
is there anything wrong in your opinion from that with that at those moments? Not if they're all the time, you got a problem. But if it's
no, because if you're just not in the mood, but your partner is, and you got to fake it till you make it kind of deal.
Right. Yeah.
That's still you mentally saying this is important. This is an important piece of the marriage.
Right.
It is my responsibility because in my belief system and how I was raised is that if you are married to that person, that person is your only sexual option. Like I know other people don't share that belief system or they don't follow that, but like I've got it's a one-stop shop. I can't go shopping anywhere else. That's
right.
I got to go to that store and that store only. And so in having that belief, like, and it's reflected back on me as well.
Right, of course,
she holds that belief. So then it's like, if you're not in the mood, but it's important to them. So therefore it's important to me. And, sometimes you just gotta,
so sometimes you just gotta, for lack of a better word, bite the bullet.
Yeah. You gotta put in the hours, whatever it is.
There you go.
That's what you got to do. Now, it's not transactional at that stage. It's you knowing that this is important. And I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's you rinsing out your bowl at the kitchen sink the proper way or the way that they like. If you're putting value on the relationship, then you need to work to do that. It's an act of service.
Right.
Where was that? There was the other side of the coin to that. I mean, I've heard of husbands that have, like, the wife, after a couple kids, comes to the husband and says, hey, you know what? I know I'm not going to go to the gym because I'm not going to have that level of accountability, but maybe if we got like a rowing machine or a treadmill or something, and we can set it up here, and then while the kids are napping, I can go for a run or I can do some rowing. And the husband goes, well, if you want that, I have to earn it. That kind of bullshit is
that's shitty.
That's again, it's misogyny. It is you not putting the proper value on the relationship. And I think that guys that do that are a piece of shit.
Okay. So for the guy that works hard, 60, 70 hours a week, never expects a thank you, is very happy to actually provide that way.
Yeah.
Right? If he comes home, I guess what I'm saying is, are some guys in the wrong thinking that, hey, can you take one for the team? That would really make my day.
It kind of depends on what the norm is. Like,
okay,
if they're coming home and they set this expectation of, I want dinner on the table, we're going to have sex that night whenever I want it, without taking any of their partner into consideration, I don't think that's right. I don't care.
I don't think that's right. The way you just explained that, I don't think that's right at all. No,
yeah. But if it's a stressful day and the wife can recognize that, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to take your mind off of your troubles for a little bit. Cool. Like,
how often do you think that happens nowadays?
I don't know. I mean,
where a wife is that attentive to a husband, and vice versa, where they both notice things. Now, the problem is that when a guy thinks that when a guy has a bad day, we all know that if we can just have a great night with our wife, the stress just melts off your back. A woman, as in my experience, does not look at it like that.
No,
it's like almost like, you take all the responsibilities that are driving me nuts right now. Let me go take a bath. Let me get me time.
Yeah. There's men and women are built different in terms of how they view,
stress processes
that time. I mean,
right. Yeah, you're right.
So, and if you're a guy and you're recognizing your wife is stressed out, and you just, what she gonna like if I just go in there and grab her boobies for a little bit? No, that's not what she wants. She wants you to sit on the couch and rub her feet for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's where you got to have the acts of service. That's where you need to learn. You got to learn because you're built different.
Right.
Like, and you know what? I'm sure there's a guy out there that his wife is going, no, that's actually what I want. Fine. Good for you, man.
You're right. You're right.
Then know your wife, know your spouse. I mean, figure that out.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to put it or end it. Know your wife, know your spouse. And that takes a lot of work. So trial and error.
Yeah. While you're doing that, don't be a douche.
Yeah. We'll end it there. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying sorry about that little foobar I did on my computer. And we will catch you guys next week.
We'll fix it. Yeah. We'll fix it in post. It'll be fine.
Bye.